So, welcome to this video with bugs and solutions for mission number 9 in Aliens Colonial Marines, Hope in Hadley's. And I am using the Aliens Colonial Marines Overhaul mod in my playthrough. So some of the troubles that I ran into might have to do with that, and some might have to do with this game not being 100% stable to begin with. So here we are inside of the base, going to the vehicle bay, and eventually you will get the NPCs telling you to head over to the vehicle bay and to start prepping. And they will go ahead and go there and open a door. But, and this is a big but, if you start playing from this particular checkpoint, because you might have paused previously or you might have died, there is a big chance that the game will bug out. You are basically stuck. Because we had 2 NPCs here, but there should have been at least one more, a Duplis, a female marine that we ran into earlier in this mission. And she is needed in this very room, both for closing the door and I think maybe also for opening another door, but she's definitely needed to get the defense part of this room to trigger. So when you die or you reload this checkpoint, apparently she is spawned beneath the floor, so you can't see her, and she obviously cannot interact with anything in this room either. So you are basically stuck in the vehicle bay forever. So the best way to handle this is to start mission number 9, Hope in Hadley's, and try to survive past this point. So do not end your gaming session before at least clearing this defense mini mission within the level. So get into this room with Duplis and survive long enough to get a checkpoint. If you do that, then there shouldn't be any problems with this one in particular. So if you do run into this problem, unfortunately, the best solution is to restart the entire mission. If you just restart this checkpoint, she is still gone. So here you can see I restarted the checkpoint just to be absolutely sure, and she is still not visibly here. So unfortunately, restarting this mission means that you will have to redo the first part, which can be very stressful, because in order to get to the facility where everything bugged out, you need to go through the gauntlet of quite a few Xenos coming at you, and the AI isn't amazing. But I would say that the best way to tackle this area is to get the sharp gun out, hang back a little bit, but push more than you might be comfortable with, because this is the big area where most of the enemies come, and if you have the NPCs as a little bit of a cushion, you can take them out fairly easily, and when you see an opening, it's best to just push for it. This takes move, and they're talking about going to operations. That means that most of the enemies have already spawned, and then you can take some supplies and push forward. And when you get to this part, there is a thing that you can do that will help you later in the mission. So this turret, when I first came through here, I only used it to defend against the Xenos here, and then I went inside. But I would strongly suggest that when you do go inside, you bring the turret with you, because that means that you will have 2 turrets to defend with in the vehicle bay later on, and that will make that area a lot easier. So yeah, if possible, bring this turret with you. So that is what I'm doing here, and you can just plant it right here when you come in. You don't need to bring it with you upstairs in order to free all the surviving Marines up there. So just pop it down here and then pick it back up when you move further on. So the Marine that we are in need of later on can be found in operation. It's this one, a Duplis. So She is the main reason that we restarted the mission. So when you have saved all of the Marines upstairs, we can head back down where we left our turret. And this will trigger a checkpoint. And as you can see, there she is. So this is where I had my, well, almost exactly where I had my other checkpoint when I started. When I did that, she obviously wasn't here anymore. But now she is. So at this point, everything is going according to plan. The only big thing we need to do now is to get through the next big fight inside of the vehicle bay without dying. If we do, we are stuck with the same bad checkpoint as I started out with, and then we probably would have to do the mission again. So at least now we have, here you can see that she is the actual NPC interacting with the door, and that triggers the next part of the dialogue. At least now we have 2 turrets, so place one, I would say, against the opening, the big door that was welded shut, and the other one strategically placed to get interacting with as many enemies as possible. And I almost died immediately here because of a really weirdly spawned Xenos. I would not recommend being super aggressive in this area because of everything we talked about. You don't want to die in here. That is unfortunately the main priority. So I went upstairs into this room. There will be enemies in here every now and again, but at least you can sort of see them coming, or there aren't as many. So just hang back, every now and again look behind you, listen to the audio because enemies usually make some noise, and then just survive in here. And eventually this fight will end and you will get a new checkpoint. And when you do, you can start playing more normally again, I would say, because then you don't have to redo the checkpoint where a Duplis might be gone. Now, I didn't run into any more game-breaking bugs in this particular level, but one of the areas were horribly frustrating to get through because of AI, because of animations, because of pacing, and it's this area where you are basically defending this big outdoor space with the ship, and you have to cut the fuel lines one at a time and then survive for long enough. Basically, you need to get the ship off the ground and then wait for the ship to leave. And you have 3 fuel lines, and only you can do something about them. The NPCs are out here, but they are next to worthless. They shoot at stuff, but not the stuff they should be shooting at. The Xenos are often most going straight for you. And one of the things, the one you can see right here, is that you are stuck in mandatory animations. And it wouldn't be a problem if you could do this without being hurt, but you can actually get killed during this animation, where you have no control and you cannot move quickly. So if you time it wrong, you are dead. And as you can see, there are a lot of Xenos and they will be coming after you primarily. The NPCs might help, but most often they don't. And also there are some invisible walls, so it's not super easy to move between the different fuel lines. So eventually you will get how to move through the fuel lines quickly enough, and you will have all of them cut loose from the ship, and that will bring on the next part of this mission when the ship takes off. And I was living under the illusion that this would be almost when this particular place is done and over with. I was wrong. The ship, for some reason, hovers here for a good long while. And during that time, more Xenos will spawn. I have no idea why it's hanging around, and it's super irritating because just getting there is difficult. And eventually I managed to kill myself again. So after many tries, this is the run where I got everything working. So I started off running towards the fuel line, which was furthest away. and you can run out of breath, but you will make it almost all the way there. And by going at it straight away, you have some time where the NPCs are talking, and during that time, no enemies spawn. So you will get one almost for free, and there will almost always be a couple of Xenos coming at you in this part. In this particular run, there was only one, so I had a sort of a good luck run getting the second one out of the way as well. After that, I had to look around. This one is usually the least defended by the enemies, so this one should be the easiest. But there's usually a couple of enemies behind you when you drop this one. And I almost died there, but yes, there's usually at least one enemy, but then you have both armor and a health pack. And what I found was the easiest way to handle this situation is to sprint back inside of the base. Do be aware that a lot of the enemies spawn on top of this building, so shoot them first, but then back away into this garage area. I think it's part of the vehicle bay, and then plant yourself in here because you have a good view out. You can see all of the enemies when they come at you, and there will be quite a few of them. And if you have the sharp gun, you will have a good chance of taking them out well before they get to you. Once again, this is not the most fun way to play, but I tried this a lot of times, and it is the most safe way to get through this level, because otherwise you'll have to deal with bad NPC, bad animations, invisible walls, and basically being swarmed at times. So eventually the enemies will stop spawning and the ship will leave, and it will trigger this cutscene. And when you have that, you are done with Hope in Hadley's. I hope this little video helped you. This mission could have been super fun, but there are bugs and other frustrations that brought it down to the bottom of my list in this run. Anyway, see you in future videos. Thank you for watching this bugs and solution video for Mission 9, Hope in Hadley's. I really hope it helped you get through this very frustrating mission. I would love to drop a sub or a like, and if I saw you in future videos. But for now, it is time to say bye-bye.